You're watching the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey, and the rumors are flowing with free agency just around the corner. But we're starting with trade rumors, as apparently, per Ian Rappaport, Lael Collins is the subject of active trade talks for the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot to unpack here. I will make note, this shouldn't be that surprising. We've talked about a Lael Collins trade for roughly a year now, given his issues last season, the suspension this year, and the emergence this past season of Terence. The Cowboys have a viable option at right tackle. Now, this is not to save salary cap space or to retain Amari Cooper or Tank Lawrence or whatever. A trade saves $1.3 million in cap space. That is it. I do believe there would be real value on the open market, or not the open market, the trade market for Lael Collins. He didn't play an entire season. He missed time, the suspension, whatever. Allowed 2 sacks, 0 hits, 15 hurries, and a great PFF run grade. These are all numbers per PFF because nobody else really does offensive line grades. But there were plenty of times where Collins was not playing at his 2019 level. The idea here of trading away Lael Collins is to acquire a draft asset, make Terence Steele your right tackle, and I argue setting yourself up for 2023. You move on hypothetically from Collins, Cooper, and Lawrence, you're saving $60 million next year. That's a lot of money for the Cowboys. So we'll spend some more time on this conversation. But first, would you trade Lael Collins? I want honest answers here. 1 for yes or 0 for no. Let me know what you guys would do if you ran the Dallas Cowboys. As things sit right now on the offensive line, you're going to bring back Zach Martin. I don't think Tyron Smith's going anywhere. Connor Williams, I bet he gets the bag in free agency for a team like the Bengals, for example. Maybe you hope Tyler Biadasz plays better. You did not tender Mitch Hyatt. He might be gone as well. If you move on from Lael Collins, your right tackle's pretty clear. That's Terence Steele. I think this regime, both the coaching staff and the front office, was really impressed, and as we all should be, by the level of growth we saw from Terence Steele last year to this year. The overall talent, it unquestionably favors Lael Collins. However, I think from an effort standpoint, for a player in Collins who was suspended last year for 6 games and missed all of 2020 due to, I'm pretty sure was he wasn't in shape and then hurt his hip and missed the entire season. The effort Steele has shown, being in the building, busting his ass, getting better, that stuff does not go overlooked. That is stuff that coaches fall in love with you for. So I think the plan is potentially here, trade away Lael Collins, get a draft asset back, and make Terence Steele your right tackle. He's cheaper, and it saves you a ton of money in 2023. Now, if you're trading away Lael Collins, what are you guys trying to get? Curious how you guys vote here. I'm going to give some thoughts momentarily, but I want you to sound off first. What is Lael Collins worth in a trade? This is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. I think the value is less than what Orlando Brown went for last year when the Ravens traded to the Chiefs for what amounted to a mid-second round pick. I think that's maybe doable for Collins. Remember, Brown was younger. He plays a more important position. His contract was cheaper for 1 year, but you're going to tag him and extend him, so you got to factor that in as well. But he also didn't have the same, effort, suspension stuff. Collins missed time the past 2 years. So maybe the Bengals give you their second-round pick. I think it's fairly even trade. I think maybe both teams win to an extent, and their O-line desperately needs help. Can you get a first? I don't know. Maybe you can start a bidding war between the Bengals and the Chargers and get a second and change. I think that's reasonable-ish, but you better get something decent back. Collins is and still can be a good football player. It just seems to me like this organization is a little bit more focused on setting things up as best as possible for 2023 than what they are for the 2022 campaign. But I'm not trading away Collins unless I get something good because he's a good football player. Let's talk rumors now. I should say more rumors here. Are the Cowboys closer to a Michael Gallup deal? Bobby Belt says so, and he's right. 3 stars on this one. Not done. Not going to say 4. Maybe it happens Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would guess this gets done before free agency, but It's the Cowboys. You never know. They let Amari Cooper hit the open market after all. Free agency, the tampering period begins on Monday. And of course, there's no tampering, illegal tampering, of course, that goes down to the combine. That doesn't happen. Everyone knows that. Of course, he says lying. NFL Network has said it'll be a 5-year deal worth at least $10 million a year, and that shouldn't be a surprise. There were, in general, no matter what the Cowboys do, there are going to be people very vocally who do not like it. No matter what move they make this offseason, they're going to be mad at it. But if you want to keep Gallup, that's the cost of that player. Yes, his numbers have dipped the past 2 years. 2021, he was injured. He's come with a torn ACL. Maybe you don't want to commit big money to that type of guy. I understand that. But he had a 1,000-yard season in year 2. He would have had 1,000 yards if Dak Prescott was his QB instead of Andy Dalton, since Dalton, couldn't really go downfield with any measure of success in 2020. So what would you guys pay Michael Gallup per year? Let me know. Sound off for me right now in the comments section. Now, I saw this on social media. I'm sure I'll see it in the live chat as well. People wanting $8 million a year max. I believe that those people, unless they were expecting Gallup on a long deal to a significantly team-friendly contract, I don't think they were living in reality. Look at similar wide receiver deals in recent years. Kenny Golladay, who's coming off a terrible season and wasn't very good in 2020, on a 5-year deal, got $18 million. Do we think Kenny Golladay is twice the player that Michael Gallup is? No. Jarvis Landry got 15. Robbie Anderson got 14.75. Corey Davis got 12.5 on a 3-year deal. Remember, the longer you go on a deal years-wise, the more expensive it becomes because of the way you structure contracts. Curtis Samuel with 0,000-yard seasons, 11.5. Tim Patrick, 0 900-yard seasons, 11.33. A washed-up Randall Cobb got $9 million. Let's be honest, Dak got that kid paid. And Nelson Aguilar got 11 with one good year. If you thought you were going to get under 8, I think you were always setting yourself up for disappointment because that's not what the market really ends up looking like. It's more expensive. And because you weren't going to franchise tag Michael Gallup, you were going to have to pay him the going rate. Or at least close. If he takes a team-friendly deal, awesome. That's great. Expecting it to always happen with the Cowboys, who never win deals? It wasn't going to be the case. So do you want to re-sign Michael Gallup? Y for yes or N for no. Today's show is powered by BetUS. March Madness is here. We are in the midst of conference tournaments, and the NCAA tournament is just around the corner. And if you want to bet on all of the games, who you got winning the NCAA title, do it with BetUS. A 125% deposit bonus at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys125. Maybe this is the year for the Zags, or maybe it's producer Jack's favorite team, the Arizona Wildcats, or I heard Jeremy likes Duke a lot, but even though nobody likes Duke. Baylor +1. I'm making that up, Jeremy. I know that's not true. I'm just trolling you, dude. Baylor +1,100. Any team, you can bet on them at chatsports.com/bet. Just remember, use promo code Cowboys125 for a 125% deposit bonus. Antonio Brown now to the Cowboys. I hate it. I don't want this at all. I am giving this fake news, and I will always give it fake news because it's stupid. It is a bad idea. AB, as he continues his, I want to do this campaign of, I'm going to buy the Broncos. I want to play for the Ravens, whatever, because he just wants to play football and get money. He says he wants to play for the Cowboys. Now, a reminder, the last time we saw Antonio Brown in an NFL uniform, he was wearing half of it because he'd stripped down and had danced his way off the field because of what Antonio Brown says. Well, his ankle was hurt and he couldn't play. And then he posted, the x-ray showing he was hurt, even though it was from months earlier because it's Antonio Brown. And his own teammate says AB wanted the football more, which is what really was going on there, because why would we give Antonio Brown, of any NFL player, the benefit of the doubt? Everywhere he's gone, he's been a problem. Here was AB's quote. The plan is to get back to the game. Maybe Jerry Jones is thinking it's sexy that I'm putting out all this motivation and hard work and energy. Maybe he will want to harness that energy. If you had not told me who said that, I would have said, It's probably Antonio Brown, right? So I will leave this up to you guys. This is democracy. I believe in allowing people to have their opinions, whether they are right or wrong. We are not Russia. Would you sign Antonio Brown? AB for yes, FAB for no. Sound off right now in the comments. My answer is hell no. Antonio Brown, at every destination he's been, has ended up as a cancer in every spot. He is a great football player when he is out there. I am happy to acknowledge that. It's a matter of worth. Why do we want that drama? We complain all the time that it's the country club Cowboys. There's so much drama. Jerry Jones, blah, blah, blah. And now we want to bring in Antonio Brown to that? I mean, that is sitting on a powder keg and tossing a giant fire torch and saying, here we go, let's see what happens. No. Horrible idea. I'm not putting a match onto a powder keg that already exists in Dallas. I have zero desire to add Antonio Brown. If you think it wasn't his fault in Tampa, okay, explain Steelers and Oakland for me. Everywhere he's gone, there's been a problem. At some point, it's the player, right? Come on. All right, more receiver talk here. Cedric Wilson, is he leaving Dallas? Probably. 3 stars on this one. We know how free agency works. Players at the open market, sometimes they get a bag. Wilson is expected to get more than what the Cowboys are willing to pay him, and that honestly doesn't surprise me that much. Wilson is coming off a breakout season. Like, he was really good this year for the Cowboys. He stepped up when, Michael Gallup was injured, when Lamb was hurt, when Cooper missed time. Wilson stepped up and played really well. I would guess, and this is just a guess right now, that Wilson could get at least $6 million a year or maybe more on the open market. I think Wilson's going to get a surprisingly large contract, to which I say, congrats, Ced. Thank you very much. We'll bring back Malik Turner on a cheaper deal and roll from there. 600 yards and 6 touchdowns on 45 catches, which is more production. It's cheating because of injury than what Michael Gallup had this past year. The receiving room is dicey in Dallas. Amari Cooper, well, he may not be back. CeeDee Lamb will be here. In theory, Gallup or Cooper is back. Noah Brown, by the way, actually just re-signed a cheap 1-year deal. That could be your wide receiver 5. You still would then need a wide receiver 3. Let's talk linebackers here because we asked Stephen Jones, hey, can we have Bobby Wagner? And Stephen says we got Bobby Wagner at home. That could be Jordan Hicks or Anthony Hitchens, hypothetically. 2 stars on this one. I'm okay with this strategy. We'll talk about both players. We won't spend too much time on it. We spent a lot of time on Hitchens in the past. He reportedly wants to come back to Dallas. I will make note, he's not the same player that he was in his prime. He's just not. Depth is a need at linebacker. Hitchens could fill that. Hicks, I think, could still start for you. Another player linked by Clarence Hill to Dallas. He's an older player, might fit their price range. He played well for Arizona, but the age is setting in. Here are their stats side by side. The volume numbers all favor Jordan Hicks, or maybe, disfavor him in terms of the completion percentage, the yards. He played almost double the snaps. Not quite double. We'll call it 40% more of the snaps there than Anthony Hitchens did. I think Hicks is a better football player for you right now. Hitchens, if he's your linebacker 3 or 4, cool. Hicks, maybe more of your linebacker 2 or 3. So pick one for me. Who would you guys rather sign? AH for Anthony Hitchens or JH for Jordan Hicks? Let me know which one. Only those 2 options. You can't write in Bobby Wagner. I'm sorry. You would rather add. I think Hitchens would just be depth at this point. I don't think he's a guy you can really start. Linebacker 3 at best. Hicks interests me more. I would also expect that the Cowboys, in terms of adding Hicks, might price themselves out of that range. So Hicks does interest me more than Hitchens does, but I don't necessarily think that either guy is the most likely fit. Probably more likely in the end than Bobby Wagner. If you add either guy, I don't think it, prevents you from adding a linebacker early in the draft. So name a player now who you want to sign in NFL free agency. No wrong answer, except Antonio Brown. Who do you want to sign in NFL free agency this year? Let's talk Daddy Jerry Jones now, as he is being sued by a woman who claims she is his daughter. There's a very long piece on the Dallas Morning News, very much worth reading. To sum it up as shortly as I possibly can, the court documents say that Jerry denied paternity. However, he did pay both the mother and then the daughter, who of course was like 1 year old at this point, to kind of like go away. We'll call it the Secret Child Hush Money Trust Fund that was set up for both Cynthia Davis, who was the mother, and Alexandria Davis, who is the daughter. Apparently, and I don't know what this is, Jeremy, maybe you do, reality show called Big Rich Texas. Never heard of it in my entire life. The bio for Cynthia, who was on the show, said she lived off a trust fund and was a partier. That was like her own bio on the show. I have no idea what this means. I'm not going to take sides, because in the end, this doesn't actually impact the Cowboys all that much. It's bad press for Jerry, but I saw people on social media saying, Jerry's got to sell the team, step away. He's not going to do that. This is not a big enough of a scandal to make Jerry Jones sell the team. I mean, shoot, guys, Robert Kraft got charged with a crime, and he didn't sell the team. Like, this is just not enough, and maybe Dan Snyder's forced to sell. Jerry, just don't get your hopes up for that one. Now, if you want me to take over as owner of the Dallas Cowboys, speak it into existence. Type in Tom right now in the comments section.